All this week, we're digging into the federal government's ownership of Nevada land.
We're looking at how it affects our tax base, our water supply, even our personal freedom. Today, Paul Johnsich is here with the economic effects, Paul.
Yeah, take a look around. Chances are most of the vacant land you see is owned by the federal government. And the feds put aside some of that land for parks that we all enjoy and preservation areas necessary to maintain wildlife and our natural history. But most of the feds' land is just sitting idle, off limits to anyone who may want to build here. And some believe that puts our economy at a disadvantage.
The federal government owns the vast majority of Nevada. At 83.1%, it's more than any other state. Since no one is paying property tax on that land, the feds send us payments in lieu of taxes, commonly known as PILT. That PILT money comes in handy. County governments use it to pay for police and fire protection along with roads and schools. But many believe we're getting shortchanged, that PILT payments are a drop in the bucket compared to the revenue that would be generated if the feds loosened their grip on Nevada and opened up more of our state to private ownership.
Would Nevada be better off if all this land were owned by citizens and businesses instead of the federal government? That's the debate.
Take Clark County, for example. In 2013, citizens and businesses paid $257 million in property taxes. But the feds paid only $3.3 million in PILT payments, even though they owned 93% of the land.
240 and now 250. 240 is bid, now 250.
Several times a year, the BLM auctions off a fraction of the federally owned land.
550. Yes.
All thanks to the Southern Nevada Public Land Management Act, which is unique to our area. This allows the Bureau of Land Management to sell some land and split the proceeds between education, the Southern Nevada Water Authority, and the Secretary of the Interior.
825 bid, now 835.
Earlier this month, investors and developers snapped up 415 acres in the Southwest Valley.
$1,450,000, $1,500,000.
They paid an average of $118,000 an acre for the land, some of it only a few miles from the strip.
Very well, close the bid here at $6 million. 111 is the high bidder.
Those land sales help pay for parks and conservation areas, like Charlie Frias Park on 28 acres near Tropicana and Decatur. There are playgrounds, walking paths, and basketball courts. This park gets a lot of use. Mark Ledoux comes here 4 to 5 times a week.
And if you come here in the evenings, you know, when the lights are on, you're going to see all kinds of different civic groups. I mean, from Pop Warner football to youth soccer.
Money from federal land sales help pay for this $15 million park, which is nice. But some believe Nevada counties could afford to put in more parks like this if the federal government didn't own most of our land.
I think people who live and work in the state have a better idea of what resources are available and how they can best be managed.
Adding to the debate is the fact that PILT payments may be going away. The feds have no long-term agreement to pay them, and in today's supercharged Congress, it's become a political hot potato.
Now, Congress has approved PILT payments for 2015, but if and when they go away, the voices you hear calling for decreased federal land ownership will likely grow louder. Tomorrow night, Glenn Meek looks at how public lands figure in a hotly contested plan to pipe water to the Las Vegas Valley from rural Nevada. And then the I-Team will dig into different aspects of managing public lands, from grazing and mining to energy development and endangered species, to determine whether more should be given back to Nevada in a 1-hour special called Rebellion on the Range. It airs Sunday at 6 p.m. And you can learn a lot more by heading to 8newsnow.com. We have an elaborate infographic history of public lands in Nevada. Just look for the banner, Rebellion on the Range.